Welcome to another episode of the Creative Saints Podcast.
Season 2.
I'm Josh.
I'm Victoria.
Thank you guys for tuning in every week.
Sticking around.
Hanging out with the McKennas. And the things that we have to talk about, want to talk about. Something really encouraging this week. I don't know if we even really talked about this. We kind of broached it. Was people who don't listen to podcasts or have never listened to podcasts said, heck yeah, I'd listen to your podcast.
Well, they said that before they listened. We should get the post-listen review.
I should send a message and ask,
we have
did you listen?
good friends that tell us they'll support us.
But, yes, that friends will support friends. We support friends and we'll listen to things. But what really struck me was the topics that we're talking about and have talked about are things that people don't talk about and people want to hear about.
Yeah.
But I've heard that from multiple people of that topic is something that I'm like, heck yeah, I want to listen to that. And nobody else is talking about it. And that's... I
think when I get a little discouraged, or if I get discouraged that like, are we doing the right thing? Are we smart enough to be talking about this stuff? I think about that sometimes, like, oh, there's probably someone smarter talking about it. And the consensus for us has been that people aren't talking about this, or if they are, I wonder sometimes if it's from such an executive level that it can be hard for normal people to understand. I mean, there's a lot of business podcasts out there.
Right.
There's a lot of faith podcasts out there. I don't know of many that intersect and that just talk like normal people. We're not necessarily experts in all of this. We just have some experience.
We live it, but I think what's different is everybody wants to make something polished.
Yeah.
And we've been playing in the dirt.
Would you call our podcast polished?
I wouldn't call it polished, but I think
it's real.
It's real. And I think back on like music, I was talking with my brother, and like music that is identifiable is storytelling raw. Like there's something to it. Like if it sounds perfect, sometimes it's boring and you don't want to go back and listen to it, but there can be...
It's why people from our generation miss the MTV Unplugged
so much. But music, just as an example, is raw, emotional, dirty. Guitar might miss, drum might miss, but they have those recordings, but then they go and they polish it.
Yeah.
So here's the raw, and most of the time the raw is what they release because fans are like, that's actually what I want
the real thing.
But you got me in with anyways.
Well, this is raw, that's for sure. We kind of went into this episode today going, okay, we said it was season 2. I mean, what makes it season 2? It's still week to week, but it does feel like we've kind of ended a chapter and are starting a new one. And we've spent this whole time figuring out what we're doing or why we're doing it or who this is for. We've talked about so many things, and wherever you find yourself on the journey of creativity, entrepreneurship, faith, there has been an episode for you. I guarantee it. We have gone back and listened to episodes we've done and been like, holy cow, like that was actually for us and we didn't know it. And so now I feel like we've laid the foundation for our season of life, for where we've been, for what this is, for our friends, our coworkers, our people like that have come alongside us and said, hey, we want to talk about these things. We've built those episodes. They are there. The foundation has been laid. And I think the struggle now is it's time to move into the house. Yeah. It's time to build the walls. It's time to, we need to actually be living this out in a real way. Yeah. And so here we go.
These episodes are probably going to get more conversational and raw.
Well, and we talked last week, like that was a big question that we had going in. If you listen to the first 15 even probably episodes, it was so structured. And
I think the first 9 were very, very structured. Yeah. And then it started like shifting into something different. At like 8 or 9, I started telling our clients, about it. We started telling people
More
at church,
friends,
people
yeah.
were meeting. We started really like promoting like the conversation we're having right now. We actually talked about that 2 weeks ago on our podcast. That can sound like a really douchey thing to like do when you're not used to that. It's like, hey, go listen to my podcast. But there is something to God has like put something on our heart in our life that we're not the only ones going through
It's
that.
not just for us. Yeah.
It's most of the time it's for us to learn a lesson or we have gone through something. It's like when you go through something and you're like, man, show up at church on a Sunday morning and it's has the preacher like been like,
listening to our podcast.
Have they been like in my closet all week?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I
have
know
they
what you
been
mean.
recording my phone calls? Like, they just read your book, your story so closely. But I think God does that, and not that we're a preacher or anything close to that, but there is like things that we're putting out there that we've experienced that maybe we've gone through that so somebody else doesn't go through that.
Yeah.
Or we've experienced the wrong way to do it and the wrong way to do it and the wrong way to do it and then the right way to do it.
Yeah.
So someone else doesn't have to do that. And maybe that can help someone. So it's been really interesting to go around that and
Yeah.
start incorporating, hey, we talked about that in depth on our podcast. You really should go listen. People ask our story, and I'm like, I'm happy to tell you, but I think we did a really great job telling it on our
Yeah.
podcast. And
It's probably saved you some time too.
it does save time. And I love to talk to people, but you can't tell everybody your story
Yeah.
when everybody wants to know your story. When we're leaving church, I can't tell you my story. My kids need to eat.
Yeah, it's
I
lunchtime.
need to eat.
Yep. Yeah, I am just excited for what this is becoming. And I think one thing I really want us to focus on for the next 25 episodes is who are the listeners. So many of you are coming to us in person and saying that you're listening and saying that you like it. And I want more of that. I want to have more of these conversations. I want you to give us input. I want to hear your stories. And
Yeah.
so we want to really make space for that this season because we're not alone in this and we're not the be all end all in this. And there are people wiser and there are people coming up behind us also that like, let's do this together. I wish that we would have had this type of community when we were starting out. We did not know who to talk to, who to call, who to get advice from. And we want to create that for people that need it. And so here we go. We've done it and the foundation is laid. And so let's move on to the next step, which is like bringing you guys in.
Building the house,
I guess. Yeah. So let's just be honest about this metaphor. How much do we love metaphors?
I hate metaphors.
Not a big
But-
fan. I don't even really love it when like pastors use them. Obviously, most pastors use them at
Right.
some point during a sermon, but they're not my favorite thing.
But we know that using metaphors is the right thing because you started planning out the direction we were going, and then we were having a conversation. You had a little of that done, and then we were having a conversation in person after a meeting, and I used a metaphor. Neither of us ever used metaphors, and we were like, it's the same stupid metaphor. I think we're
right.
supposed to learn from that.
Yeah. And so this house thing keeps coming up, which, y'all, God is just so funny because we're in the process of looking for and trying to buy a house. We've seen houses. We've gone out with realtor. We have a lot of things kind of happening right now that we're still praying about and trying to figure out. Let's just be honest. Being self-employed is a thing that we have to figure out when buying a house, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it adds a whole nother level of a process to it. So we are
Buy a
in
house with your W-2 and then go work for yourself.
Yeah, we are in the throes right now of all of these little details, stuff that people deal with every single day. That's fine. But then, and maybe that's why we felt like God highlighted it this way, but I don't know. We don't love metaphors, but yet this house metaphor kept coming up in regards to not just the podcast, not just our real life, but like multiple areas where people are coming to us with this. And so well, what are we going to do? We're just going to lean in. So I think that if this is something God is highlighting, we lean in. And this might be the only episode we talk about it being a house. We may never bring this up again.
Hopefully we don't use metaphors moving forward, but...
But what was the whole point of the podcast?
Yeah.
I'll say it again. It was about community.
Yep.
And what is something that we are so passionate about, even now as we're looking for houses to purchase, if there's no space to host people,
Yep.
it's not the house for us. And we're so passionate about that. And so I just think God is really funny in the way that he'll tie things together. Maybe he's trying to make a point to us and that's not relevant to other people, but those little God winks where he goes like, see, it all works together.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny and it's easy to miss if you're not aware. And I'm not one to like over spiritualize or say something God is God when it's really just like human nature or the world. But like, it's just fun to see his hand in all the little details. So if we talk about this podcast being like a house, there's the why behind it.
Yeah.
You may never hear us use metaphors again, but
who knows? So we
want to invite you guys in.
We've laid the foundation.
Yeah.
Those key principles and mindset shifts, those practices that you make a routine into your schedule. So we've laid...
Yeah, that was like all of season 1 is like practical steps,
foundational elements.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get it together. Mm-hmm. So the house, building the house is the action, the
application,
the stability, the attention to detail, the all of those things, all of the finite details, all of the trivial little things that are part of going day to day. I've heard a lot of people talking lately about being overwhelmed. They just have so much on their plate. And I think it comes down to a lack of organization and a lack of task management. I think there's a lot of that because our world is so fast paced. But if we can get a schedule, that takes most of that out. A task list and a schedule take most of the chaos out of there.
Yeah.
And you can focus on the creative aspect, the faith aspect of doing the things that are building your stability, that are helping you to apply it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You can focus on what your purpose is and not how do I manage the things to get to my purpose. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think one thing that is important moving forward, if we want to like make sure that what we're saying adds value to people's lives, which is we don't just want to come on here and talk. I listen to a lot of podcasts that add no value to my life because they're funny. And so if you're here for that, we are more than happy to offer that as well. But we do want this to be valuable. And so I think that if you are curious about what this looks like for you, I think that something really important to do would be to find out where you are in the process. Maybe you're ahead of us in this. Like maybe you've already built the house and now you're decorating and now you're having people over and now you're whatever that looks like, you're landscaping. Like those are all things once the house is built you're handling, but
you're putting in a pool.
For us, if we found a house with a pool, it would be we're
taking
out the pool. I do not want a pool. But yeah, so find out where you are in the process. Maybe you're still looking for the right land. Maybe you're still, and what is that? Again, using the metaphor, but like maybe you're still figuring out what the thing is. I feel something. I feel a calling. I feel a pull towards something. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. Take your time and figure that out. Maybe you've figured out the thing and now you're laying the foundation. You're building your business plan. You are kind of fleshing out like what it is that you're going to do and how that's going to look for you. Is it part-time? Is it full-time? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it side hustle? All of that kind of stuff. Is it working for someone else? So find out where you are in the process. Don't just and really be honest with yourself. I think that it's easy to assume you are at a different stage in the process than you actually are. I think the foundation process for us took a lot longer than we would have been honest about. It took a long time for us to finally say okay, we have something here. We have a fully fleshed out home, as far as our business goes. And there's still moments where we're like, actually, I need to redo this. I need to tear this wall down and put it somewhere else. So just be honest with yourself about what part of the process you're in, because it's going to make it a lot easier moving forward to create plans that actually work in your favor.
Yeah. It's okay to not be at the same stage as other people. It's okay to have started at the same time as someone else and be ahead of them or be behind them.
Yeah.
That's fine, because their journey is not your journey. And getting there is, it's important for you to know your identity and your purpose and go at the pace that is right for you. Otherwise, we've talked a lot about this. You'll burn out, you'll quit, you'll go and try and something that happens a lot is people are like, oh my God, they're making $1 million a year and I'm still making $1,000 a year. And then you're pivoting and pivoting and pivoting and pivoting, and you're actually distracting yourself from where your purpose, your plan, your direction is supposed to be, and you're never going to move forward.
I think that honestly is good advice, because even for us, I think that I spent a lot of time watching what everyone else was doing. And especially in Nashville, where every other day one of our friends was all of a sudden an entrepreneur, when maybe they were a real estate agent, or maybe they
sold
were this
one
or
house
that.
and made $1 million in there.
Right. And so
Not
then I'm
million,
going
but-
like, well, what the heck are we doing wrong? Like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to do real estate, but like, am I supposed to
supposed
do
to do
real
real
estate?
estate?
So yeah, I think for a long time, I would see some of our friends start businesses after us and seemingly be doing better than us. And that
But
was
you don't
really
know
hard.
the debt they carry. You don't know the weight
So
they carry.
that was one thing I was going to say is, how do I know that we didn't look that way in their eyes? You know, there's no way
Did
to
they
know.
have any
really.
peace in their life, or was it just chaos?
And so there's a lot of assumption, I think, that gets thrown around. But I think just being honest and, that kind of comes back to a comparison mindset. We've talked about that. But not comparing yourself, your journey, your place with other people. If you know, and I mean, this is kind of the caveat to it, like hearing from God and knowing that you know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, it does require that relationship there to say, actually, I'm good. It may not be what I want it to look like. It may not be the timing I want it to be. I may not be making as much money as I'd like to be making right now, but do I have peace? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And don't let that comparison mindset. If you're still laying the foundation and someone else has the walls built, that's okay.
Yeah. I literally just last week saw somebody who is younger than me. They designed merch for a big tour. And I was like, well, what the frick am I doing? Like, you're like almost 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And you're getting to design something for like, how did you get the connection? But it was right after that that I had a conversation, and I was sharing that with you, with a couple people who are dads and leaders and husbands, and we're having real conversation, and that's my that's why I'm not designing for a big headlighting tour. Anyways, but I have to check my heart constantly, even though I feel like I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. We're doing what we're doing, and we're supposed to be like, I'm on pace and I have peace with that. Comparison still will creep in.
Oh, for sure.
Always.
Yeah.
So what will season 2, what would you say it's going to feel like it's going to flow?
I think that we're always, like, the things that we've talked about, we're always going to talk about. There's always going to be graphic design conversations. There's always going to be task management conversations. There's always going to be that layer of just like, these are things we deal with every day, client relations, all of that kind of stuff. That's always going to be a huge part of what we're talking about.
If we run into you and have a conversation, you're going to hear one of those things.
Yeah. And at its core, creativity, right? What is that? How are we working within a creative space, place, all the things. But I think the big change for this season, the next 25 episodes, the next whatever we decide to do, I mean, the only thing that makes this season 2 is that we said that it was, is kind of this like, how do we move forward now and invite people in? And, you had said before we had planned much sooner to make this a video podcast, which honestly would have probably engaged a whole nother listening base.
But I said something big was coming for episode 25, and I thought it was going to be doing video at episode 25. But I said, I just knew something big was coming at 25.
Yeah.
And as we were recording episode 25, it was like, this feels like a chapter is closing, like a book is closing.
Yeah.
But not to stop doing the podcast, but to kind of pivot and shift, to be more intentional on engaging people and impacting people. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's my hope for it is reach might be a part of that, engagement might be a part of that, but like I don't just want to talk on the surface of these things. I really want to get into the lifestyle of creativity and what it looks like to let these things run through your DNA.
Yeah.
Let this become such a natural part of your life.
Yeah.
And for many it already is. And so I wish I had some big this is the huge change that's coming. And I don't think it's that. I think it's just like a subtle shift in how we're talking.
I think I don't know if we've really talked about this whole lot. The last week has been very busy, very full.
No, you didn't say.
But we have briefly talked about doing some segments. So maybe we do like a day in the life of a creative and we focus on a different creative, and that's like a 10-minute segment of what we're doing, and maybe that waits for video or something. But I think incorporating more people into this community is the biggest thing, because like we said, we don't know everything. There are people who are much wiser than we are. There are people who do things in different areas than us that could shed light on different things. There's people in other parts of the world who want to get on the podcast and talk to us about faith, creative, Jesus, spiritual life.
Yeah.
And we haven't done that.
Well, and I think that is a big decision that we made going into this next portion of the podcast is faith cannot be left out. And I think we really tried to, it was always the thing. We've talked about this. We named it Creative Saints. It was always going to be a part of it. It was always about being spirit led, but I definitely intended that it was toned down a lot more.
So it was more accessible and digestible by non-Christians even.
So I guess buckle up, because we feel a shift in our own faith walk. And I think you get to that point, we've been married for almost 10 years and we have a couple kids and we're running a business and we're doing ministry and all these things. So I think there's a natural shift spiritually that has come with that, where we do feel like God is very close and very easy to hear from right now in this season. And that's just gonna be a part of this. I'm I don't feel like we anymore can separate the two.
Yeah, I don't think we've separated the two, but they are married and they're always going to be married. Some people do creative life or spiritual life without the other, and they segment that, but we're never going to do that. I think we're going to have more conversation about how do you sustainably do this?
Yeah.
How do you implement this?
I agree.
And do this in more of a lifestyle and not tactics or, habits form
just not one-off things, right? It's a one-off thing to go build yourself a Calendly link.
Right.
It's a one-off thing or it could seem like a one-off thing to go set up a task management system, but this is actually a sustainable, how do you do this? Do it every day, keep it sustainable, move and breathe and live in this system.
But I think a lot of creatives, a lot of people anymore, with life going so fast, I think people are I'm just trying to get to the end of the day. I'm just trying to get to the end of the week. I'm just trying to pay my bills. I'm just trying to get rid of that client. I think shifting that mindset is huge in making this a lifestyle where I'm frustrated with that client, but I'm going to pray for that client while I'm working on their project to finish it out. See what God does.
Yeah.
I am so tired today because people have just worn me out. God, give me the strength, capacity, and the energy to get through this. And that is where it becomes a lifestyle and not just getting through. That's where it becomes a lifestyle, and you actually merge the two actions in your like tangible work and actions in your faith. And they both grow when you do that. We don't do them perfect all the time, but that is something that we have both really tried to, when I get so frustrated with a client saying, hey, I actually want to, not the client that called this morning, but when a client's like, hey, I actually want to change everything now. Or, hey, I want to add this too. It can be so easy to get frustrated because you have a schedule. But if you're in charge of your schedule, if you're on top of your schedule and you live peacefully with it, you know what you can handle. You can account for that, but it's a lifestyle of trusting and not like hustle and striving. If you're hustling for the next client, you can't ever find that place of peace. I lived there for a very long time. So I think more of that, more stories of other people, like we said.
I think that, I really want to hear more stories. I do sometimes feel like we've reached a point where we've kind of said everything about our life. I don't feel like we've left anything out really, and we've probably gotten more honest than I ever intended to in a lot of ways, in a lot of areas.
Lives on the internet forever.
Here we go. There's no getting rid of it now.
Maybe AI could make another person of us just by listening to our podcast. That might be a real thing.
I'm saying all of this, but can we also say, Lord, I don't need another plot twist.
No.
I don't need more to talk about, actually.
No.
So that being said, because you've heard every little detail of our life at this point, I want to hear from more listeners. We have so many creative friends and so many creative listeners that have really cool stories to tell. And that doesn't necessarily even have to look like an interview. While that is important to me that we start doing that, I think this week I'm going to be better at our social media management. And I want to put a place.
I think we say that every week.
Okay, we do. No, I don't always say I'm going to be better. I just say I know I'm not great at it.
Well, that's fair.
So my challenge to myself is to be better. And I really want to hear some listener stories that we can read on the podcast. And maybe you have funny client interactions. Maybe you have a question for us that we could answer. And I just think that would be really fun. And in lieu currently of doing video and having guests on, because also huge thing to us having guests on is we don't have a studio space right now. So it's harder for us to figure out. I know we could do Zoom and then there's audio quality and all of that. But so for right now, I'm going to put some stuff out there this week. I'm going to ask all of you to share those things with your friends and your creative people. And let's read some stories. Let's get some information. Let's say some funny things or ask some questions.
I think it could be a testimony type situation.
Yeah.
It could be funny.
Whoa.
It could be, this is how I handled this situation. How would you handle it? Like,
maybe you
if you have
disagree
questions
with something that we've said. I'm willing to hear that.
Yeah. If we talked about something and you disagree with it, send us your rebuttal and we'll read. Like,
I love that.
Let's read all of the things. We are 100% open to saying we were wrong.
Yeah.
If we were wrong, or hearing another way of thinking, because multiple people on something always make something better.
Yeah.
And so I look for that to get better all the time. So I think that's important. That's something we've not talked about is feedback.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about feedback.
Interesting.
But we would love feedback. We would love to give you feedback. Whatever we can come, whatever story you have, whatever situation you have, whatever questions you have, send them in. And we will put that, share it with your friends to send in. I am going to challenge everybody listening to share this with 10 people this week.
Whoa, 10 people.
10 people. That's not that hard.
It's
You just
not
hit
that
send,
hard. Just
send,
hit a group message. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so easy. If you know someone does something creative or
Yeah.
semi quasi creative, then send it to them.
I'm gonna keep hyping up for the church kids. Share that one. That was
For the
my
church kids
favorite
was-
episode that we've done in all of season 1. That was my favorite. And so share that episode with your friends. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think that there are a lot of people that have a lot of good things to say, and so I'm excited to hear what they are. I don't know. I think this whole thing is just us we're gonna go deeper into what this is. While we've been really honest, I do think we've stayed kind of on the surface of some things. We said we were very topic heavy, very one-off situations. And
There's a couple topics we've talked about that I wanted to go into the dirt with. I wanted to really get in the weeds on. And I think we talk about
we edited ourselves. Yeah, maybe we go
going
back.
back to those, because at the end of the day, you're not going to... Sometimes you don't say something because you don't want to negate anybody or single anybody out to like not want to listen.
Yeah.
But I think if there's something that we feel is worth talking about and really getting into the weeds on, those conversations are dope to have, because they not only will get us thinking more, but they'll get you thinking more.
Yeah.
And it's just good dialogue and good conversation to talk about things that we agree with, disagree with, or to get into the, oh, that's a little, maybe we don't talk about that because that's not so.
Yeah, I like that. I think that one thing that's really important, I mean, I know that this is kind of a we're figuring it out episode and we're talking about it with all of you. We have a lot clearly that I think we're trying to figure it out with God, like what he wants us to be. And we have a general idea, but I don't think that we've gotten any big like revelatory moments, and this for us has very much been like, you made a commitment, go get the mics and record.
Yeah.
And if we're not prepared to record, that's our fault. That's no one else's fault.
Right.
But the past couple weeks have felt like, all right, where are we going? What are we doing? And I want this to not just be that. I want it to add value to people. I want people to have listened and then take something away from it.
There have been a lot of conversations of, wow, that was really impactful, that I've been having. And it makes me question, like, and I'm actively praying about, like, is designing and branding the thing that I'm staying with long term? Or is that transitioning as well? So I think this next...
Oh, thanks for telling me that now.
We've talked about this. This next handful of episodes is... that will always be a part of the story. And the shift isn't just overnight. It's kind of been like a nagging thing that I've been like, I'm too busy to give thought to that, to prayer to that. Like, but I've been going there, and I don't know what that means, what it is. Our business, I don't think, is going anywhere, but being aware of like a shift, naturally there's a shift with the podcast if our business is, so just really being intentional about what we're talking about, what we're putting out.
So as you were just saying that, like we've said, this whole thing is kind of hand in hand with Holy Spirit. So I'm just going to make a bold statement and say that if this is something that we're feeling, that we're experiencing in multiple areas of our lives, I have a pretty good inkling that whoever is listening to this specific episode, someone is dealing with that also.
Yeah.
And I think my challenge right now would be, I totally stole that from you. You like to challenge people. I don't ever say that. So my challenge would be, look at your foundation. What are you standing on right now?
That's good.
Because just because you have a foundation does not mean that it's sure. And if God wants to shift something, if things are changing, if there's a big move of God that's going to take place in our communities and our churches and our, like, all of those things, I don't think we're the only ones feeling it.
Yeah.
And I think that in order to sustain what is coming, to sustain whatever the next season looks like, not season of the podcast, but season of our life and the world and all of that, it better be a sure foundation.
Yeah.
And if you are wondering what you're supposed to be doing, if you are wondering what you believe about yourself, about God, about the church, about like your purpose, all of that, I think it's time to start figuring some of that out and coming up with some actual answers.
Yeah.
Because wondering about these things can go on for a really long time. And sometimes that's necessary. I think sometimes God allows us to have like question marks for a season. But sometimes we wonder for too long.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying wander, I'm saying wonder.
Yeah.
We live with these question marks and we just never find the answers.
Yeah, but if you wonder too long, you're going to end up wandering in circles.
Well, yeah. See, look, there's more metaphors happening.
That's so stupid.
But I worry about people that are afraid to find answers. And I think that we are afraid to find answers sometimes because we don't like what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because God's answer might be no, or it might be change, or it might be move, or it might be something that we don't feel prepared for. And so I just strongly believe like we were called to do this. We were called to have these conversations. We were called to be in community with people. So we're probably not the only ones feeling it. And
we're not the only ones feeling it. And this is, I feel like every time we sit down to talk anymore and record these, I've had 3 conversations in the last couple of days. But this morning, I was talking with a friend who feels lonely and isolated. And God just asked his family to do a big thing. And he was obedient and did the big thing. And I shared that when we felt the move to move away from Nashville, we had so much community there. Like, so many things going on that we had to turn things down every week because you can't do it all. And we moved to Michigan and it just felt so isolated, so lonely. But the thing that I found, probably not for 6 months until after we moved here, feeling isolated and lonely, I love my family. Like I wasn't lonely, but
no, I understand.
It was, I realized that season of feeling isolated, feeling lonely was God bringing me closer to him, to hear what the purpose was. Like, okay, you said yes to the assignment, but I didn't have the orders for the assignment. And the assignment was get closer to me, get closer to your wife, get closer to your kids, and just, that's everything. And follow my steps. But I had to spend a long time. We spent a long time with no friends in Michigan. We were very isolated and lonely, and that was hard. There was nobody to call and say, hey, let's go get burgers for dinner.
Yeah.
And that is hard. It sucks. It freaking sucks. But now, on the other side of that, our relationship with our kids is stronger. Our marriage is stronger. Our relationship with people is stronger. Our relationships with God are stronger. What our impact is much bigger. And I say that very, very humbly because it is a huge weight when people are coming to you for advice and you're like, God, I need a little help because I don't want to direct this person the wrong way. I'm praying for people and I don't want to say the wrong thing because this is their life, not just, this isn't picking what you're having for dinner. This is their life, their lifetime decisions or their financial, like these are big things. So it's very hard in seasons.
Yeah.
And I know there's people out there listening that are going to hear this maybe tomorrow, maybe a week from now, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, that it is going to help to be a reminder that God can be close. And when you feel isolated and lonely or lost, he really is what to go to. There is no other thing that's going to comfort you as much as God will.
No,
So that's a precursor of what's coming.
That, I guess we figured it out. I don't even know. I don't even know what to do from here. I think that this is just going to require a lot of intentionality, and it's going to require more from us as we become more intentional.
Yeah.
As we try harder to impact people. Not try harder, but just understand the weight of the impact.
It's easy for us to sit down and talk creative or faith when we live it and we talk it all the time. These conversations are going to need to be probably more prayerful, more, maybe there's just scripture to throw with it. Like, this is going to be more like, this is how you go to war. This is how you actually pay the bills. This is how you actually do it.
Yep. All right, let's go.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. Okay. I thought it could be fun to add this little segment into the end of each episode. So here we go. We're gonna call it Creative Sparks. I feel like I need game show music too.
Sparks. Okay.
Okay. What is one thing this week, not this season, not this month, but like this week, that is inspiring you creatively, or that you're feeling drawn to? Like anything. Like, what's your creative spark this week?
So, a few weeks ago, I said when we were talking about some like inspiration, I said that like the 1950s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like ad campaigns were. And then I have a client who has a nonprofit in Franklin, and he has all this inspiration for garage and helping people. So I've been looking at a lot of old racing, like not NASCAR, but like old racing, like French,
like vintage,
Italian, like vintage. They do a lot of posters, and so there's a lot of that modern style coming back.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at a lot of old car illustrations and posters and motor oil and all of those types of things. I don't even know if
You're
we even
such
talked
a
about
car
this.
guy.
I'm not a car person, so it's the most bizarre thing. But the curves they use, the line thickness they use, the like heavy font weights and the really skinny condensed fonts and typography. It's really cool to watch how some stuff that you see that Ford and Dodge put out now, though it may be trash and they're implementing things poorly, they're pulling principles from the beginning.
I wish they'd pull marketing from the beginning.
I wish they would pull marketing from the beginning.
Okay.
So I've been looking a lot at that. It also, I feel like my time for inspiration has been pretty low. So it needs to be purposeful searching for inspiration. So
I feel like rather than being inspired, like generally, we're kind of in this place where there's so many projects going on that I'm like, okay, I'm inspired for this thing to do this thing, and I'm inspired for this thing to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lot of different veins that we're working in. Whereas in the past, I feel like, okay, I'm super into this thing right now, and it's kind of informing a lot of my decisions. Instead, there's like a lot of like singular things.
Rap albums, like the CD crystal cases, or jewel cases, whatever they're called, at coffee company, and we're looking at implementing that kind of style into coffee shop menu. So I've been looking at a lot of old like 90s rap albums, like the crystal cases.
Oh yeah, that must be really hard for you.
That's terrible. I hate it so much.
Now I know it's in your AirPods.
I've not been listening to it, but the styles are really interesting, and like there was intentionality behind it. It was so much detail put into something you can't read, but there's still so much intentionality and detail.
Is it funny to you okay, so like, let's just be honest. I know you were listening to that back in the day. So is it funny to you now to go back and be looking at the art for it?
No,
like, you know all the words, you know all the songs, you know all the artists, like, so now I know, but like at this level where you're actually inspecting it and you're looking at font choices and all of that, like, is that fun
font
for
choices
you?
were terrible, but it is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. It's a different season of life that I listen to that kind of music.
Don't be holier than thou. It's fine.
I literally, ever since having little girls, I cannot listen to
no more hip hop. No more 90s hip hop.
It's only Christian hip hop. The rest of it is, I can't. But yeah, it is interesting to look at it in like
Reverse engineer it all.
you can you look at it like those songs were so ingrained in junior high school. Like you know every word, you know the beat to the song, you know how it starts, how it stops, like all of that. So to look at it and hear it by not maybe that's what you meant, but to look at those and hear the songs, hear the album start when you're not even listening to it is pretty.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Have you, I don't need to be earwormed by some of that though. What is inspiring you?
Okay. So my world right now has been very communication heavy. So I feel like
really?
Yeah. I'm like
never
sending
guessed that.
a lot of emails and all of that. And so it's been harder for me right now to like feel inspired because all that I'm looking at are like text documents.
That's fair.
But that being said, I'm kind of into looking at like event graphics right now. So posters, screens,
interesting,
certain types of promotion, that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I would say that it's maybe it is a creative spark. I'm trying to frame things differently. I'm not as forward thinking as you sometimes. I can be very like, I saw something a year ago and it's still in my head. So I'm trying to be more forward thinking and, leading a team and trying to think of things that actually make sense for like the future, not just something I saw that I liked before.
Yeah. There's been a lot of distracting noise though in your world.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to like stay inspired, but I would say event graphics, I'm not in the fact that they're event graphics, but how they're laid out and how they're structured, whether it be on a screen or a poster or an invite card or things like this. I'm just trying to think of all those things, but I have been inspired by that lately.
Interesting.
Thanks.
Remembering something from a year ago is not something that I would, no, I move on.
I just think I don't always stay 100% up to date with like what people are doing or what's trending.
That's fair.
And I'm trying to be better about that because I will try and create something and you're like, yeah, no, that's not cool anymore. So I'm just trying to be better. That's all.
I mean, I think you do that unintentionally. I think you're like always
now I'm
inspired.
trying to be intentional.
When you're yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think you're always inspired by things because you bring things up all the time.
Yeah.
But I think when you sit down to it, like, oh, wait, what inspired me? Because there is like even more for you. Like you're in the throes of something and you're getting it done. So the inspiration may be maybe less.
I literally lately have had so many tabs open on my screen and this has never been my life before. So yeah, things start to feel a little jumbled every now and again and I don't know. I'm trying to stay inspired by it all. That's really all. I'm trying to stay creative in it all.
Yeah.
And not just in the throes of the work of it, you know.
So what is one thing that you're going to do this week that will help you to put another piece of furniture in the room?
Are we back to the house metaphor?
We're back to the house.
Oh,
we started with the house metaphor. We're going to end with it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to say because I don't feel like I know what is going to come this week.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had a better answer. That would probably be a better podcast host to have an answer for you.
I have the same answer as you. I don't know what's to come.
Yeah.
And there are so many things up in the air right now that next week could look a lot different and things could start shaping up in different ways. Just building a podcast studio, so many different ways that could shape out. And so I feel like we are, I'm going to answer for both of us. I think we are in a peaceful pause place of we've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's time to pause for a second, step back, make sure that we know where we are before we step into the house.
maybe ask God what room we're supposed to decorate first. I'm going to shamelessly say, because I feel like, I mean, it's pretty vulnerable. While we often are talking about others and our friends and our community and all of that, outside of this podcast, we have a pretty large question mark happening right now in our mind, in our life. And you know what? Our friends, if y'all could pray for us for that question mark to become an answer,
Yep.
That would be great. And honestly, you're not going to hear this until tomorrow. So by then it might be answered. And thank you for praying anyways. But yeah, that would be nice to have that answered by the end of the week. And
Yep.
that would help us inform a lot of decisions in our life right now. So there's that. That was really vulnerable.
That
I mean,
was
it's
very
also kind of
vulnerable.
vague, but you know, we're building a house. So
Let's go.
let's go.
All right. Send us your stories, testimonies,
Yeah, you'll see those posts this week.
hard
and
times,
we wanna
fun
hear it all.
times.
Yeah.
If you have a funny story, I want to hear some funny
I
stories.
want to hear some funny
Because
stuff.
we've shared a few funny stories. What is your worst idea that you've ever had that you didn't realize until you executed on it?
I think we've asked that question before.
No, I've answered
Well,
that
no,
question.
that's true. You've answered that question for you. Yeah.
But any type of stories, let's just see where this ball rolls, and we will keep coming back week after week for the Creative Saints podcast.
I love it. All right. Bye, guys.
Have a good week.